Here we have your average Japanese salaryman who tries to protect his homie and his homie's girl from danger but gets stabbed and dies. Luckily for him though, he's an isekai protagonist and gets teleported to a different world as a slime with amazing powers. The unique skills he gains are Sage and Predator. The skill Sage increases his thought processes, while the skill Predator allows him to devour, mimic, analyze, and create using his own body. And so he is reincarnated into a different world as a slime. Due to being a slime with no senses, he roams around devouring plants or anything else that may enter his slimiest body. He eventually stumbles upon the storm dragon Veldora, who gives him the ability to see using magicules. It is then revealed that the storm dragon was sealed in the cave the two of them are in 300 years ago by a hero. Rimuru uses his skill, the Predator, to devour the storm dragon Veldora to analyze the barrier he's in from the outside while he's inside of Rimuru, and so that the dragon can analyze the barrier from the inside while he's inside of Rimuru. The two can then put together their analysis and hopefully break the barrier the dragon is in. And so Rimuru leaves the cave he and the dragon were in, and on the way out he sees three adventurers. Now being a slime, the smart thing to do in this situation is to walk away, and Rimuru does just that. On the way out, he encounters a battle between goblins and direwolves. The goblins are getting their asses beat, and so Rimuru goes to save them. They then ask for his help and protection against the direwolves, who they know are going to attack their village. Well, the direwolves do attack the village, and Rimuru makes swift work of their leader. Instead of running away, however, the direwolves realize that Rimuru is an absolute unit and vow to serve him forever. And so Rimuru decides to give the direwolves and the goblins names without knowing that giving names to monsters causes them to get stronger and evolve while taking magicules away from the namer. And so after giving them names, he immediately passes out for 3 whole days. After waking up from his coma, he realizes that the goblins and direwolves have evolved. He also realizes that the goblins are batshit useless when it comes to building homes, making clothes, etc. And so he and his small group head over to the dwarf kingdom Dwargon to get some dwarf artisans. At the gate of the dwarf kingdom, they are met by some foul humans who try to fight them, but Rimuru turns into a wolf and screams so damn loud that everybody in the vicinity faints. This lands him in jail. While he's in jail, Rimuru learns that an accident has occurred in the dwarf mines, injuring many people. He then learns that all of the herbs he ate in the cave actually had good uses and that combining them could make full restore potions. After giving these potions to the dwarves, they feel very happy that he's such a good dude and they let him out of jail. He then meets Kaijin the blacksmith, but unfortunately for him, Kaijin is in deep shit. It seems Kaijin has taken on an order to create magical swords, except that he took on an order a little too big for him. Kaijin had taken on a request to make magical swords, except that the amount of magical swords required was a little high for him. Luckily for him, Rimuru had eaten the exact ore required to make these swords, and so after devouring one of Kaijin's swords, he duplicates them and fulfills his order. After helping Kaijin fulfill his order, they go to an elf bar to celebrate because elf waifus just hit different. At the elf bar, they are approached by Minister Vesta, who is a total piece of shit at this point in time. Vesta tries to talk shit to Rimuru, but my boy Kaijin ain't having any of that BS. He stands up and socks the shizzle pop right out of Vesta. Unfortunately, punching the minister of a whole country isn't a smart choice and they get sent to a trial. The king likes Kaijin, however, and so all he does is exile him and his group along with Rimuru and Minister Vesta for being a total idiot. The 3 adventurers from the beginning of the story noticed that the storm dragon Veldora had actually gone missing. After reporting this to the guild master, they are assigned to investigate the Jura forest where the cave was located. They are accompanied by Shizu, who is a girl summoned from Earth. The group encounter monsters, but luckily Shizu uses the flame spirit dwelling inside of her to fight against them. They're still in deep shit though, but luckily my boy Rimuru appears and saves them. After staying with Rimuru and gang for a short while, Shizu and the adventurers begin to leave. Unfortunately for everybody, Ifrit, the flame demon dwelling within her, begins to violently take control. Rimuru is a big brain slime, however, and he uses his predator skill to devour and then separate Shizu and Ifrit. But as it turns out, Shizu was actually being kept alive by Ifrit, and so she tells Rimuru to absorb her, and so he does, gaining a human form. He decides to seek out the demon lord Leon Cromwell, the person who summoned Shizu, and convey her final words to him. A masked man named Gelmund gives the name Geld to an orc king, with the thought of bringing about a new demon lord. Due to this, the orcs under the orc king's command attack the ogre village. The ogres then attack Rimuru, thinking he is the one who has attacked their village. After Rimuru clears up the misunderstanding, he and the ogres join forces and he gives them names, causing them to evolve from ogres to kaijin. They agree to work together to defeat the orcs. Meanwhile, the chieftain of the cute gecko race, lizardmen, realizes that they're all in deep shit because of the Orc Lord. He sends his son Gabiru to create alliances with the goblins to work with them to fight against the orcs. Gabiru's yes-men make him believe he's an alpha male, however, and he wants Rimuru to serve under him, not serve with him. Gopta, a goblin, makes quick-ass work of Gabiru, literally invalidating his alpha male card. Trainee, a dyad, then appears asking Rimuru to defeat the Orc Lord. You can't really say no to a dryad when they literally manage the forest, and so he agrees. She then explains that the Orc Lord has used the unique skill Starved on his people. Starved causes the orcs to constantly crave sustenance, go literally batshit crazy, and even eat their own people to gain more power. Rimuru then sends So-e, one of the kaijin, to negotiate with the lizardman chief about working together. Unfortunately, Gabiru's dumbass usurps the throne from his father because he thinks they're strong enough to defeat the orcs without anyone's help. And so Gabiru leads a full-on frontal assault on the orcs without knowing that they can literally eat them and each other to get stronger. Gabiru's sister, however, is an absolute G, and she informs Rimuru of the situation. Rimuru and gang luckily make it in time to save the lizardman. The masked man Gelmund then appears, who is swiftly killed by the orc Geld, who turns into a demon lord after devouring him. Rimuru tells the great sage to take control of his body and basically turns on aimbot. After realizing aimbot is useless against a hacker, he realizes he has to fight himself and takes control of his body once again. Rimuru learns that Geld was actually on a search to end a famine that was affecting the orc people, but was manipulated by Gelmund. And so he devours Geld the Orc Lord along with all of his sins, freeing the other orcs from the effect of Starved. The Kijins decide to serve under Rimuru, and Rimuru bestows the name Geld onto the Orc Lord's son. The Jura Forest Alliance is then established with Rimuru as Chancellor. The Dwarf King Gazelle then appears to test Rimuru, and after proving to the Dwarf King that he's an absolute unit, they become friends. Gabiru and a few other lizardmen also now work under Rimuru, and Rimuru has named them, causing them to evolve from lizardmen to dragonutes. Sometime later, the FBI alarm clock, Milim Nava the Demon Lord, appears. Once again though, Rimuru is an absolute G, and he and Milim Nava become homies. Phobio, Beastkeeper of the Demon Lord Carrion, then appears with the intent to take over Tempest, the village of Rimuru. Milim Nava, the Demon Lord, is there however, and she makes quick-ass work of him while holding back. She then reveals to Rimuru the plan of the Demon Lords, which is to create a Demon Lord that they can easily manipulate, which was supposed to be the Orc, but now he killed him, so their plans are kinda gone to the shitter. A while later, a man named Yom and his border survey group appear. He seemed like a good person, and so Rimuru tells him to take the credit for defeating the Orc Lord. The Demon Lord Clayman then takes an interest in a monster known as Charybdis. And so while Phobio is fuming about Milim Nava beating the shit out of him like how my mom beats the shit out of me, the two Harley Quinn of Clayman approach him. And just like the previous masked man, they are also attempting to manipulate someone, and they easily manipulate Phobio into becoming the host of Charybdis so that he can get his revenge on Milim Nava for beating his ass. And so Charybdis is revived, summoning 13 Megalodons to course the skies with him. The Dwarf King and Rimuru's gang successfully kill a few of the Megalodons, and Rimuru engages in a battle against Charybdis. He soon realizes, however, that its target is Milim Nava. And so he tells Milim to handle it, and she basically tactical warheads this boy into a different world. After successfully separating Charybdis and Phobio, Phobio violently apologizes over and over again for being an idiot. The Demon Lord Carrion then appears and thanks Rimuru for helping out his servant, and they two make a non-aggression treaty. And so while everybody is celebrating while eating Megalodon meat, Rimuru is dreaming about Shizu's 5 students. She had regretted not being able to help them before her death, and so he vows to go and help them. Those 5 kids are also summoned humans from Rimuru's world. They are summoned from Rimuru's world, and when they're summoned, they are given an immense amount of energy that is put inside of their bodies. Unfortunately, this energy will kill them within 5 years if there is no spirit to control it, such as Ifrit, who is inside of Shizu. While Rimuru and his students are on a picnic, they are attacked by a sky dragon, which Rimuru literally incinerates with gluttony. He is then greeted by a merchant who knows he is Rimuru Tempest, and the merchant takes him out to dinner. At dinner, he sees a familiar elf from the Dwarf Kingdom. She tells him that she knows where the entrance to the dwelling of spirits is located. She tells him, and Rimuru and the kids go to the dwelling of spirits to see if the kids can be given a spirit so that they can literally live. They are then attacked by an automaton controlled by Ramirez, one of the demon lords. Even though it was just to test them, he literally incinerates that golem. She reveals that Leon Cromwell actually used to be a hero before turning into a hero. She also reveals that she used to be the Queen of Spirits before dying and being reincarnated as a demon lord. In exchange for Rimuru making her a new golem, she will help the kids find spirits to inhabit them. A plethora of lower-ranking spirits go near Gale, Alice, and Ryota, and so Rimuru devours those spirits and turns them into 3 new superior spirits which successfully inhabit the 3 of them. Kenya then summons the Spirit of Light, which is happy to inhabit him. By the way, the Spirit of Light inhabits heroes, wink wink. And while Chloe is trying to get a spirit to inhabit her, a weird spirit-like being appears and inhabits her. And so with all the kids having spirits inside their bodies, they will no longer die. Rimuru makes a new golem for Ramirez and off they go back to Ingracia and the academy. Unbeknownst to Rimuru, however, there is a mysterious woman spying on them. And just like that, this video has come to an end. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. My Instagram and Twitter are in the description, so make sure to drop a follow. And until the next video, toodaloo.